This pattern is called the FlexiMidge. It's called that because we're going to be using LifeFlex. In this case, we're going to use an olive LifeFlex, which is like a rubber banding material. And we got on our hook here a Killer Caddis bead in a peacock color. I've got a size 20 scud hook here in the vise, so it is a relatively small hook, you can see. Smaller the number, smaller the hook size. So a size 20 is much smaller than a size 12 by a long shot. So we're just going to go ahead and get started here with some nano silk. I want to keep a pretty thin body on this. So we've got our thread started. We'll go ahead and cut that butt end of our thread off. We'll go ahead and turn to our piece of olive LifeFlex. We're going to tie that in just on my side of the hook here. And I'm going to take a couple of wraps just to secure that down. And I'll be spinning my thread counterclockwise just to flatten it out, and this nano silk will flatten out pretty well. And by flattening that thread out, we'll just get a smaller loop profile on this. The other way we keep a small profile is because this is stretchy. As we tie down the shank of the hook, I'm going to be stretching the material here. We're going to take this fairly deep down into the bend of the hook. All the while I'm stretching this flexi material, this elastic material, pretty tight. Once I get down here at the bottom, I'm going to turn my thread counterclockwise again. Again, that's just going to help us build up a nice smooth taper. Not much of a taper. I'm going to bring that right back up to behind our bead here. I'm going to take a few extra wraps here just to build that taper and to kind of help secure that bead in place a little bit. So next I'm just going to grab our LifeFlex material here. We're going to start building up the abdomen. You want to stretch this fairly tight as you begin, and that's going to help keep this fairly narrow down towards the bend of the hook. And I'll just take touching wraps. I do want to avoid the hook point, just so that this doesn't break off. And you can control the tension of this moving up, and as you kind of release a little bit of pressure on it, the material is going to get a little bit thicker, so it's going to help build the nice taper that you're looking for. Also creates a nice kind of ribbing effect. I'm going to take this all the way up to behind the eye of the, not the eye of the hook, but behind the bead. You can see I'm loosening up tension, and those wraps up here behind the bead are getting thicker. And I'm going to take that right up against the bead here. And I'll go ahead and throw my thread over this, securing that LifeFlex right in place. A couple of wraps. Take a couple of wraps right behind the bead. From there I'll go ahead and turn my vise a little bit sideways. Actually completely sideways. I'm going to pull up on the stretchy material, so when I clip it off, that material will kind of suck itself down into those thread wraps. And that's really about all there is to the pattern. We'll go ahead and give ourselves a little bit of extra thread to whip finish. I want to keep these whip finishing turns right behind the bead. Not looking to create a pronounced head of any sort. You'll notice that the olive thread is going to blend in really nice with that olive LifeFlex. From there I'll go ahead and release that. Grab my thread cutter. So there's the FlexiMidge. Really great pattern, very easy to tie. Doesn't take much material, as you can see. Only one, really, aside from the glass bead, is going to be the LifeFlex. You can change up the color of the LifeFlex. You can tie it in a black, a tan, whatever you want, but you can fill your box up with this really quickly because it is so quick and easy to tie. So grab yourself a hook, throw it in your vise, and give this one a shot.